Water, a basic human right, or at least it should be. According to the CDC, an estimated 2.2 billion people do not have access to safe drinking water. So, we created H2OhNo, detecting and reporting water contamination. To combat the water inaccessibility problem, H2OhNo offers a variety of different features. First, we wanted to focus on the water contamination as a whole. To do this, we realized that we could help determine whether water was contaminated with machine learning by uploading and scanning an image and telling the user what type of contamination that water might be affected by. For example, lead, poisoning, rust, etc. We also have a chatbot that recognizes various trigger words that may suggest unsafe water. For example, if the user describes a strange odor from their water, that might suggest sewage contamination. Another big part of our site is scalability and making H2OhNo global. We actually emphasize that this is an international problem, and so it also deserves an international platform. So we created a virtual map, courtesy of Google Maps, that pins reports of water contamination onto the site. So there are different icons for different types of contamination, as you'll see in our demo. And so these data points are plotted directly onto a map. And this offers a lot of practical purposes. So if you see a lot of points all next to each other, that might point to one water supply that is being contaminated and infecting a lot of people. We also include data visualization for global progress in water accessibility. So after creating mock-ups and wireframes of our site, we actually took H2OhNo and turned its designs into a reality and created a minimum viable product with our main functionalities coded and ready to go. So this is our homepage. As you can see, we randomly generate statistics about water accessibility. And on our data visualization page, you can actually see a chart of how water accessibility has improved over time. Our main features, however, we have our map created with the Google Map API. As you can see, we have a legend here. Each of these icons represent different types of water contamination. You can also full screen this so you can explore what areas are affected. In the region of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, there are a lot of issues with water accessibility. So to check if your water is actually safe to drink, we have our chat feature. You can say something like hello, it will respond to that. If you say that you're concerned about lead poisoning, or if you just mention the word, it'll give you information about that specific type of contamination. If you say something like my water smells weird, it'll recognize that that could point to sewage contamination. And finally, we have our scanning feature. I have some samples here. How this works is you can go ahead and scan your water sample. As you can see, this has a pretty high percent chance of being rust contamination. Similarly, you can try sewage, lead, and other samples.